But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. So we really don't know all the fighters he beat. And he was on, what? He could have been not clean in a lot of...
It seems the rivalry between Canelo Alvarez and Floyd Mayweather will never fade. Canelo has long maintained that Floyd only defeated him because he wasn't in his prime yet, while Mayweather has consistently tried to downplay Canelo's skills, insisting that he was always easy work.
Man, cakewalk, easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when...
But now, tensions between the two are escalating faster than ever. 11 years after their iconic clash, the rivalry between Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez remains one of the most debated topics in boxing. Despite the passage of time and both fighters cementing their legacies, discussions about their first encounter refuse to fade.
Do not fight Floyd because you're too young. You have no experience.
Right. Well, but he's a much bigger man.
He is, but he's 21 years old, flexing his muscles like, I can take on Floyd. I'm the very best. Guess what?
Most recently, it was Floyd's camp, specifically Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle and former trainer, who reignited the fire. His bold comments about Canelo's abilities, particularly regarding a potential rematch, sparked a heated exchange between himself, Canelo, and Floyd.
Because I do see some decline in Canelo, but even though I see...
In a recent interview, Jeff Mayweather shared his thoughts on Canelo Alvarez's performance in his latest fight against Edgar Berlanga. Canelo had secured a dominant victory, winning by unanimous decision and knocking Berlanga down in the third round. On the surface, it seemed like just another milestone in Canelo's legendary career. However, for Jeff, the victory wasn't enough to convince him that Canelo was on the same level as Floyd.
Hell of a fighter. And everyone is now saying that he's not the same fighter. He's not looking the same.
Jeff began by acknowledging that Canelo is a great fighter. I mean, Canelo's Canelo, and we've seen some good things from him, Jeff said. But not as good as the Canelo we've seen in the past. While he recognized Canelo's dominant performance, Jeff quickly made it clear that the version of Canelo today didn't compare to his former self. He's still Canelo, but not the Canelo we saw before. Jeff's tone wasn't one of admiration. Instead, it came across as dismissive of Canelo's evolution as a fighter.
More difficult between Mayweather or Bivol, and why?
I think both are similar, just Bivol is bigger. So
The conversation took a more heated turn when the interviewer brought up the possibility of a rematch between Floyd in his prime and Canelo today. Jeff didn't hold back, confidently predicting that the outcome of a second fight would be the same as their first encounter in 2013. Yeah, he has no chance, just like last time, Jeff bluntly stated. He'd get his ass whooped again, just like it happened the first time.
Obviously, Floyd Mayweather and Bivol. I've heard fighters say they learn more from losses than wins. Which of those fights did you learn from, or which one bothered you the most just out of those two?
Bothered me more like the Bivol fight because, I think I'm not in my 100% in that fight. I should be stop it and take more time. At the end of the day.
It was clear that Jeff Mayweather didn't believe Canelo's rise to superstardom and his multi-division world championships had significantly changed the equation in his mind. Floyd's defensive brilliance and ring IQ were unparalleled, and there was no way Canelo, regardless of his achievements, could overcome that. Even when the reporter brought up Canelo's recent successes and growing list of accomplishments, Jeff remained unshaken. Floyd is the face of boxing too, Jeff said. Floyd fought in many weight classes as well. He continued to dismiss any notion that Canelo had surpassed Floyd in terms of legacy.
About him.
His experience, he's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
You think that was the toughest fight you faced?
No.
What do you
I think it's tough fights and difficult fights.
This comment came despite the fact that Canelo's resume had only grown more impressive in recent years. With victories over top-tier fighters like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Plant, among others. Canelo had also claimed titles in 4 different weight classes, while Floyd retired after an undefeated career. Canelo Alvarez, however, didn't take Jeff's remarks lightly. Known for his fierce determination and pride, the Mexican champion was ready with a response when Jeff Mayweather suggested that Floyd would beat him again. In an interview with DAZN and Boxing, Canelo made his feelings clear about the possibility of a rematch with Floyd.
Canelo is this. You proved yourself already. You proved yourself. You fought a lot of great fighters. You tested yourself. You went up in weight.
I'd love to have the opportunity for revenge, Canelo said, acknowledging that a rematch with Floyd was something he would relish. He was honest about the slim chances of the fight happening, but his desire to prove himself again was clear. Obviously, we know it's not going to happen, but yes, I would love to get rid of that little thorn, Canelo added. His words weren't just about beating Floyd again. They were about erasing the pain of his first loss and demonstrating how much he had grown as a fighter.
And so when I fight guys, when I'm in my 30s and they're in their 30s, you know what they say?
What's that?
Oh, this guy all washed up.
Canelo's first loss to Floyd in 2013 remains a defining moment in his career. At the time, Canelo was on the rise, but Floyd's defensive brilliance and tactical precision exposed gaps.
If you and him were to fight and you were both in your prime, he would win.
Well, it's crazy that, Canelo said that, because when Canelo fought me, he was in his prime. And when I fought, I was an old man. So I wasn't in my prime when I fought Canelo.
In the younger fighter's skill set. However, the loss didn't break Canelo. Instead, it fueled his growth, propelling him to become a multi-weight world champion, dominating divisions from light, middleweight onward. Today, Canelo's confidence is a stark contrast to the young man who faced Floyd nearly a decade ago. His skills have evolved, and his mentality is sharper than ever. While Jeff Mayweather believed Floyd's victory was a decisive one, Canelo was firm in his belief that a rematch would have a very different result. If we fought again, I'd school him. I'm not the same fighter I was back then, Canelo has said, and it's clear that sentiment still stands. The back and forth didn't end with Canelo's remarks. Floyd, ever the showman, wasn't going to let Canelo's comments go unchallenged. Taking to social media, Floyd made it clear that he still saw himself on a different level. Canelo may think he's improved, but the reality is, he's not what he thinks he is, Floyd declared. His message was blunt and direct, questioning Canelo's progress and implying that if Canelo had faced the caliber of opponents Floyd had.
Canelo said that because when Canelo fought me, he was in his prime. And when I fought, I was an old man. So I wasn't in my prime when I fought Canelo. I was an old man when I fought Canelo. Just like this right here.
He wouldn't have reached the level he believes himself to be at now. Floyd made it clear that, in his eyes, Canelo's growth hadn't been enough to close the gap.